Cam Newton is officially on the trade block. The Panthers are looking and searching for trades for the former MVP of the NFL. Back in 2015, Cam Newton was the best quarterback in football. He's had some great seasons since then, but he's also had a lot of injury issues and some down points. Cam Newton is still, when he is healthy, in my opinion, one of the elite quarterbacks in football. He is on a 1-year, $21 million contract, and that opens up to a lot of possibilities across the NFL. There are some quarterback-needy teams that I'm sure will be calling the Panthers. The question is, how much will Cam Newton really be looking for in terms of what will the Panthers be looking for back from Cam Newton? Will that be a first, which I doubt? Will that be a second and a third, a second rounder, a third rounder, a fourth round? How much are the Panthers going to want in return for Cam Newton? I think that's the ultimate question. Now that the Panthers have signed Teddy Bridgewater, they look to be going into the future with Teddy as their starter for the short term at the very least, if not the long term, and then potentially, if they need to, draft a quarterback if Teddy is not the guy. But they appear to be going with Teddy Bridgewater for the future. Cam Newton is on the block, and that makes this Cam Newton trade very, very possible. I'm going to break down some teams that I feel Cam Newton could go to. I feel like these would be the possibilities for Cam Newton. So let's start off with the absolute obvious team, and that is the New England Patriots. Tom Brady has announced that he is leaving from New England. So you have to wonder, is Cam Newton the guy to step in and replace Tom Brady? Now, whoever replaces Tom Brady is going to feel immense pressure behind them. I feel like Cam Newton can handle that pressure. If the Patriots are still in it for winning, Cam Newton is their guy. There's nobody else on the market, whether that's Winston, whoever it is, Andy Dalton, Nick Foles, any possibility in the draft, Cam Newton is better than all of them at his peak, and Cam Newton would give you the best opportunity to win now if that's what Bill Belichick is looking toward at this moment. It really depends on what Bill Belichick wants to do, but when you're talking about Bill Belichick, he's always had admiration, respect for Cam Newton and his game. Cam Newton is undefeated versus the Patriots, so that will definitely weigh into the possibility of him coming to New England. You look at Josh McDaniels, who has a former history of wanting that quarterback within his system, drafting Tim Tebow in his Denver Bronco days, who is basically could have been, the Cam Newton of the NFL, but Cam Newton is Tim Tebow realized with actual real NFL translatable talent. And if Cam Newton is fully healthy, that's the question. Can he be healthy? I think a lot of teams are going to have to weigh that into discussion, which is kind of interesting. Like, will he be traded now? Will he be traded later in the offseason? That's the big question. Will teams actually get the right injury information? I think that's what's happening right now. Are teams looking into Cam Newton's injury history and his injury report right now, his status as of right now? We've seen his Instagram videos. We've seen the reports that he's been throwing. He's been working out. So it appears that he'll be ready to start in week 1. But the question remains, will he be healthy enough to provide a team with a starting quarterback and a good Cam Newton in 2020? That's the ultimate question. Of course, the Patriots also have Jarrett Stidham, who will be vying for the position. The Patriots could go in multiple different directions, but Cam Newton would be the number one direction for them to go if they want to win in 2020. Now, other teams that Cam Newton could possibly go towards, I feel like the Bears really come up in my mind, in the forefront of my mind, now that Teddy Bridgewater has gone to Carolina. That's out of the discussions. They've had trade talks for Nick Foles. They've had trade talks for Andy Dalton. But Cam Newton is better than all of those guys. And yes, maybe Cam would be a little bit different than what they typically have within this system, but I do feel like he would be their best option right now if they're looking to win. They just signed Robert Quinn on defense. That upgrades their defense. They have a win-now defense. They went all in for Khalil Mack. They have the weapons offensively, and Cam Newton is used to playing with less than lackluster receivers, so he could possibly make that work with Allen Robinson being his number one target. I feel like that's enough. Tariq Cohen combined with Cam Newton's ability to run. You have Montgomery at running back as well. You just signed Jimmy Graham. It appears this team is in it for winning now. So Chicago makes a lot of sense. I also feel like Nagy would probably like some of the possibilities of adding Cam Newton's ability to run and to scramble and to make plays outside of the pocket. You could add even more of a dimension that you had with Mitchell Trubisky and up it to the next level. Plus, Trubisky would actually be a decent backup for Cam Newton to run a similar type of offense, given that they're both athletic style quarterbacks. The other teams I'm looking towards, you have to really say, is Denver in the conversation? I don't think so, but they've always kind of been in the rumors for a Cam Newton trade. It does appear they're going to go with Drew Lock, but I would throw them out there as a possibility. I feel like Miami is definitely a destination that could happen. Brian Flores has really made an impact in free agency this offseason. It appears this team is not that far away from being a team that can win now. Honestly, after this free agency, even with the lackluster talent they still have on the offensive line and a few critical areas on their roster, it's not an absolute given that Miami is going to be picking a quarterback high in the draft because they don't have that number one selection. So Cam Newton could be the solution there at quarterback if Flores is willing to take a chance there. They certainly have the cap to make it happen, and they have the cap to surround Cam Newton with an offense that really would work for him. Other scenarios, other teams, I think Washington could be a place for him. Ron Rivera, former coach of Cam Newton. That's definitely a trade scenario. Given that they're not exactly sold on Haskins, I think Cam Newton would be perfect for Washington. He knows Ron Rivera. They have a good relationship. They've won before together. And he knows what it takes to build an offense around Cam Newton and build a defense that can support him and play complementary football. Washington is a team that I think a couple pieces away on defense, a couple receivers, add there, draft some in the draft. I think there's a possibility that Washington makes a lot of sense given those former ties from Ron Rivera. Other teams that make some sense, there's really not a lot of other places. If Tom Brady doesn't go to Tampa Bay, you have to wonder if Cam Newton would be the place that Bruce Arians, the quarterback that he goes after. He definitely has the arm. He definitely has the size to play within the system for Bruce Arians, and he would love to play with those weapons. I'm sure that would instantly be Cam Newton's best weapons. But Tampa is also a team that are just a couple of ways and couple of trades and a couple of signings from being a team that really makes an impact in the NFC South and in the NFC in general. It appears that the Colts are going with Phillip Rivers, but if those discussions do fall through, you have to wonder if maybe the Colts will take a chance there, but I doubt it. Those are really the teams that I see being in play for Cam Newton. And the absolute last one would be the LA Chargers. If the Chargers are not able to add Tom Brady, if Tom Brady does not go to LA, Cam Newton could potentially go there. And I feel like with all the reports of Anthony Lynn wanting a mobile quarterback, Anthony Lynn working with Tyrod Taylor already being the supposed transition quarterback there, I think there's an offense you can build for both quarterbacks that would work. You have a really reliable backup who could play the same style of offense there. You have a team that's ready to win now, and you're really just a quarterback away from making the playoffs again after a down season in 2019. So those are all the possibilities, the trade possibilities, and the teams that I feel will be in the market for Cam Newton and the fits within those systems. So there you go. Cam Newton possibilities for potential teams, potential fits, and potential trades.